Jeff Ament was never the loudest one in the room. He didn't scream into microphones or smash guitars under stage lights. But without him, there would be no Pearl Jam, no 10, no Seattle movement as we know it. A gifted bassist, songwriter, visual artist, and quiet visionary, Jeff Ament stood at the center of a cultural earthquake, and yet somehow, over time, he became its ghost. The deeper you look into his story, the more unsettling it becomes. Because behind the flannel and the fame, behind the massive success of Pearl Jam and the legend of Mother Love Bone, Jeff Ament's story is one of pain, distance, and a long, slow retreat from a spotlight he never truly wanted. What happened to Jeff Ament? Why did someone so crucial to rock history begin to fade away from the narrative? And why does even the band he helped build seem reluctant to speak his name the way they once did? The mystery of Jeff Ament isn't about scandal or death. It's about silence and what that silence says. Born in a small Montana town, Jeff Ament wasn't raised for the spotlight. He was raised on skateboards and punk records, on small-town isolation and wide-open spaces. And that duality, the craving for something more and the urge to escape everything, defined his music. After moving to Seattle in the 1980s, Ament played in several pivotal bands, most notably Green River and then the ill-fated Mother Love Bone, whose lead singer Andrew Wood died tragically of a heroin overdose just as the band was about to break. That moment changed everything for Ament. Not only had he lost a close friend, but he also felt the dream slipping away just when it seemed within reach. Then came the formation of Pearl Jam. The project was raw, emotional, and, at first, uncertain. But it exploded. 10 wasn't just an album, it was an anthem for an entire generation. And while Eddie Vedder became the face of the band, Ament was its spine. He crafted the band's visual identity, designed the album art, and co-wrote many of its early songs. Still, fame didn't sit comfortably with him. As Pearl Jam rose, Jeff Ament became more withdrawn. On tour, he was quiet, reserved. In interviews, he offered few words. And in public appearances, he often looked lost. A man playing a role he never auditioned for. While the media focused on Vedder's angst or Stone Gossard's riffs, Ament seemed to recede further into the background. And then came the fractures. Pearl Jam was a band constantly at war with its own fame. The Ticketmaster boycott, the refusal to make music videos, the self-sabotage of their own commercial momentum, all of it stemmed from a desire to remain pure. But inside that storm, Ament found himself increasingly isolated. There were creative tensions, especially in the no-code and yield eras. Some reports suggest Ament considered leaving the band multiple times. Others say he felt his contributions were being minimized. What we do know is that by the early 2000s, Jeff had started disappearing from Pearl Jam's inner circle, not entirely, but enough that fans started asking, "Where's Jeff?" Unlike his bandmates, Ament rarely gave interviews. He had no solo career to promote. He made music often dark, introspective, haunting music on his own terms, far from the limelight. Albums like Tone and While My Heart Beats were released quietly, with little fanfare, yet revealed a man still searching for peace in a world that never let him rest. His lyrics spoke of loneliness, disconnection, and the price of legacy. And still, Pearl Jam continued. Jeff would return to tour, to record. He was never officially gone. But emotionally, spiritually, something had shifted. The man who helped build the band from ashes had become a background figure, occasionally stepping forward, only to retreat again. Some fans noted his body language in live shows, distant, tired, going through the motions. Others pointed to his minimalist bass playing and wondered if his heart was still in it. In 2017, a rumor spread that Jeff Ament had quietly moved back to Montana full-time, choosing to live away from Seattle, away from everything. He was reportedly building skate parks, funding youth programs, and painting. Not recording, not touring, not talking. Some interpreted it as peace, a man finally finding the quiet he always wanted. Others saw it as a silent goodbye. What deepened the mystery was Pearl Jam's increasingly fragmented dynamic. Ament appeared in fewer press spots. When Eddie Vedder released a solo album, Jeff was notably absent. Even in their 2020 album Gigaton, Jeff's presence felt muted. It led fans to speculate, was he sidelined, burned out, disillusioned? And then, in a 2021 podcast, Ament spoke, not with drama or bitterness, but with a kind of exhausted truth. He admitted to feeling disillusioned with the industry, with the way Pearl Jam operated, with fame itself. He said that after 30 years, he wasn't sure what he wanted anymore, and that quiet statement hit harder than any scream. Because Jeff Ament, the man who helped define the bass sound of a generation, who turned personal grief into sonic gold, who designed the very look and feel of one of the most iconic bands of all time, had finally said what so many felt. That this life, this career, this world had taken more than it gave. The tragedy of Jeff Ament is not a headline. It's not a scandal or a tabloid sensation. It's quieter than that. It's in the way he faded from the front lines of rock. It's in the stillness of his interviews. It's in the lyrics of his solo work. And most of all, it's in the realization that sometimes being the soul of a band means you carry the heaviest weight. Ament helped launch the Seattle Sound, survived the death of his best friend, navigated the implosion of a genre, and lived through the era when rock and roll stopped being dangerous and started being nostalgic. Through it all, he remained authentic, grounded, and emotionally raw until even that became too heavy to bear. Today, Jeff Ament lives largely off the grid. He still plays with Pearl Jam, still tours, but on his terms. And perhaps that's all he ever wanted. But the silence around his journey is telling. No one talks about the emotional toll. No one asks how it felt to watch your friends die, your genre collapse, and your voice get quieter while the band kept playing. This video is a tribute not just to Jeff's legacy, but to his silence. Because in that silence lives a truth louder than any amplifier. Subscribe to Hollywood Untold for more emotional stories behind music legends and the feuds that shaped rock history. Tap the bell to never miss a beat.